What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Is World. What I want to talk to you guys about today is the wound, your wounds, your internal wounds, your insecurities, your trauma I believe that we all face, those battles internally of our past and just allowing people to do us wrong, and our insecurities and just wounds, stuff that we deal with internally, but we just don't let others know about that, right? Or we don't know how to handle it, right? And so right here, I have basically written down like my wounds and a couple of questions. This is also from a year ago, same as the last video I talked about. All of this I have it wrote down from a year ago. So this is all this stuff I have right here is just what I was going through, my insecurities, my wounds, my trauma, everything that I went through. And then now a year later, I'm reflecting and seeing how well I did on, fixing those wounds. And what I want you guys to do is, if you're comfortable enough, let me know, let us know in the comment section, stuff that you're facing, internally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, stuff that you're going through that you necessarily don't know how to handle. And we'll get through it together. So right here I have identify and describe your wounds. And for me, this was all a year ago, like I said. So for me, this was my insecurities, my wounds. I want to say more my insecurities, my fears. They were the feeling of being left out. So what I've learned through, feeling this type of way, and then flipping the script on that, is just it's a alone time that I spend with myself, and then just giving myself that reassurance, doing things that I love to do, and then just spending time with myself and healing myself, properly healing myself. A lot of people, I find that a lot of people, they always need somebody, or they desire somebody to like vent to, somebody to hear them out and fix their problems, which is cool. That's why therapists exist and psychiatrists and all that stuff. That's why they exist. But I found it better for me to do the intro work myself. It is my life. It is These are my insecurities that I'm going through, that I feel. So for me to go run off and tell somebody like, "Oh, I feel this type of way," I mean, that could help you, but what I'm gonna teach you guys is how to deal with it yourself, and how I did it myself. So with the feeling of being left out, is just finding why you're here, doing that deep introspection in your life and really truly finding out why you are here. Um, I believe that all of us are here for a reason. Um, and all you have to do, man, is just really just you got to spend your alone time wisely. You gotta heal yourself. You gotta ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Why am I so caught up on this? Why is this still bugging me? Why have I not gotten over this? And then you find solutions. You find it, or you get somebody that's older and wiser, like a mentor, like I did myself, and they point these things out to you, and they just help you. They give you like suggestions, tips, wisdom on what you could do. And then if you are actually desiring that change, you will put the work in. So with the feeling of being left out, I mean, you have to really, it takes a lot of work, but you have to do a lot of internal work and sit with yourself and tell yourself, like, we're here for a reason. What am I passionate about? What makes me get up in the morning and look forward to another day? Once you find those things, it could be the little things, bro, like just going out for a walk in nature. Like me, I genuinely like that. or like at nighttime, going out and looking up at the sky, looking up at the universe, the moon, the stars, um, and just finding your reason why you are here. And eventually, you will stop. You will stop looking towards others to figure out why you are the way you are or why you're meant to be. Because nobody can really truly tell you that or unlock that for you besides you. The second one I have here is a betrayal. Now this one was big earlier in my younger years because I used to be, and like I talked about in my last video, I used to be a people pleaser. I used to hang around people that made me feel good, made me feel important. And then I got too attached to that. And then once those people, we went our own ways, that's whenever you start feeling like betrayal, or whenever you just give somebody your all, which it could be a woman or just best friend, a family member, whatever the case is, you just pouring yourself and forcing yourself onto them, and then you seeking them to be like your source of happiness, and then they can't handle that, bro, because they don't even know how to handle themselves. They don't even know how to keep it a buck with themselves. They don't even know how to stand on their own foundation, their own 2 feet. So for you to be looking for that with somebody else, that's not gonna do you no good, man. So with betrayal, I just basically I let it be. I let it happen. Yeah, I got stabbed in the back. Yeah, we all have those fake friends. We all get left. But when you learn to let go of all of that, then that's whenever betrayal won't even exist, because betrayal is just you attaching yourself to that feel good or the feeling that they gave you of making you feel important. But when you stop that, and then you don't even betray yourself, and you do the things that make you happy, then you won't ever feel this again. And me personally, I'm doing way better at that, I'm spending my alone time productively, and I'm doing things that make me better internally, mentally, spiritually, the whole thing. And it's been really peaceful, man. You will really find a lot of you will find a lot of peace within yourself. The third one I have here is abandonment. So I've met a lot of women and dudes and a lot of people in general that have abandonment issues, and like I talked about right now, that's because you are too attached to the feeling that they provide you, because you cannot find that within yourself. But it's possible. The second you start abandoning the second you start abandoning yourself, that's whenever you start going through all this. You will start feeling, you will have those abandonment issues. That comes from you not being true to yourself, you not knowing who you are, and you not doing what's at best interest for you. You're doing all of this for somebody else, and then they take that. That's another thing I learned. People are takers. People will take, and they will leave you. People will leave you if they see they can just use you. Not everyone's like that, but there's definitely people out there that will just use you for what they need you, and then they will leave you. And that's why people get a lot of abandonment issues. But it all comes because you abandon yourself. You left yourself in order for you to get all this feel good from another person or another thing or another object. And now that that thing has left your life, you don't know what to do. You're lost. But it's okay. We'll get through it. The fourth one I have here is trust issues. Basically, it resides, same thing with betrayal and abandonment. It's just you attaching yourself too much, you being too needy, too desperate, you just relying on somebody else, you really not trusting yourself. And this is real big, like you trusting yourself, having that self-trust. That's where confidence comes in. You trusting yourself, you knowing um internally, mentally, that you got this. I got you, bro. We ain't gonna go through that again because we got through it. Why would we set ourselves up to face that thing again when we already got through it. And another thing that like I learned is whenever things come up in your life that are like similar to your past, you know, issues and battles and all that, once you finally trust yourself and you built up that self trust and self respect with yourself, the internal dialogue to where you say like, no, I got you. No matter what, I got you. We'll get through it together, me and you, the person you see in the mirror. All right, so the second question I have is what was your message to your wounds? What was the message to your wounds? And I wrote down no self worth, no self respect, and no self love. I didn't have all of this a year ago. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't aware of all that. Um, Once I finally started spending a productive alone time with myself, that's whenever I developed self worth and self respect and self love because I did the internal work. It all starts in the inside, in your heart, in your mental, in your overall being, your emotions, your spirit. You know, you have to do these things in order to finally reach that self enlightenment. You know, you finally have that self awareness to where you know I'm good. You know, nothing will get to me as long as I don't let it get to me. Because in reality, bro, your thoughts, they're not even real. They're just thoughts. Whether they're good or bad, they just come to you naturally when you're asleep or when you're just living your day to day life. You know, you start thinking stuff. And then a lot of people, what they do is they take that thought, that first thought, and they run with it. And what I've learned to do through my mentor and just you know, introspecting myself is I have a thought come up and then I'll stop and I'll ask myself, why am I thinking this? Why did that thought come up? And then the second thought, that's really like more what you are thinking because a thought is just a random just thought that comes up in your head. Um, but once you start attaching a feeling to that thought, that's whenever you start going through the motions and you start feeling it. So, for instance, back then when I used to be clinically like diagnosed with depression and anxiety, you know, I would I would like base my lifestyle off that. I was like, I'm always gonna be depressed. I'm this way because I'm depressed. I have anxiety, so I can't go up and just be cool with people because of these things that are labels. They're labeled onto me. But what I learned is that whenever you don't get attached to that, when you don't put that in like a label on that, and you don't get attached, and you finally see it through a different perspective, a third person perspective, you view your life at a person perspective, and that's whenever you will start developing like that awareness, like that's not real. We're not real. That's not how we truly feel. That thought that came up right there, and that's not real. That's just a thought. But what people go wrong is that they start attaching feelings to your thoughts. And then through your feelings, then you start putting it into action. So with you being depressed, you get a depressing thought that for instance, like nobody likes me, everyone hates me, I'm not meant to be here. I used to have those type of thoughts. And then I would attach a feeling to it, which is sadness, which is anger, which is loneliness, which is self betrayal, betraying myself. And then that's whenever I would take action. That's when people take actions. That's why people either they commit suicide or they self harm themselves or they go out there and they drink themselves and then into, you know, an accident or whatever happens, you know. But that's what I want you guys to know is it all starts with a thought. You know, we can't really control our thoughts, but you can control whether you give it power or not. Whether it's good or bad, it's all on you and you have the control. You have to take control. A lot of people my age or younger or even older, especially with the day and age we live in today, they don't know how to do that. You know, everyone is socially conditioned to think a certain way, to live a certain way through their family, through their friends, through social media. That's why I stay off all that. I don't care what my family has to say. I don't care what social media has to say. I don't care what people are doing. What am I doing? This is my life. There's only one of me, you know? I may not even live to see tomorrow. So what am I doing with my time, with my thought processes, with my mental, with my mental, with my heart? How am I managing that? That's really what I have all written down for right now. This is gonna be a short video, but yeah, guys, um, you got this. Like I said, right now, you're just try to live it this way. Try to implement this in your life to where you have that self awareness. You see your thoughts come up, right? Whether it's good or bad, they come up to you, and you take a step back. You're like, whoa, hold on, let's look at this. Instead of reacting right away, no, slow it down, take a step back, ask yourself why did this come up, and then you start moving from there. You start directing it, you start putting it into a different energy. You know what I'm saying? So you have a thought come up, whether it's good or bad, you ask yourself, why am I thinking that? Is that productive for us? Should I act on this? Whether it's good or bad, you have to think like this. You have to have that inner dialogue. You have to ask yourself these type of things, and then it's up to you whether you just let it go, and it'll go away. It'll float away, and then you won't even be thinking about that the next 10, 15, 20 minutes because it's gone. You didn't attach yourself to it. But if say it's a good thought, like a productive thought, and you're like, all right, let's attach a feeling to it. So then you start going through the motions, you start feeling it, you're like, all right, that kind of makes sense. Let's try it. And then boom, that's whenever you take action. And then you never know how it may work out, man. Whether it's good or bad, you may not know how it works out, but it's very important to not give power or energy to your negative thoughts, because that's why people, you know, they're drug addicts, or they're harmful to themselves or to others. They can't manage their own psychology, their thinking process. They can't manage that. And for those that are interested in learning that, that's why I'm here, because I don't want to say I mastered it, but I definitely am in control of, my thought process, my emotions. I have that self-awareness to where I can take a step back and look at everything from a wider view, a third perspective. Look at everything and put the pieces that are actually going to benefit me towards my next move. All of you guys have the power of doing this. I will be teaching you guys more of that. Let me know in the comment sections if there's certain topics that you guys would want me to talk about. And thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Like that, hit that like button, subscribe, share it if you think that this could help somebody else. And yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you guys soon.